got to get Wallace started somehow, and I think it's going to start in the post. He's got to have some touches down there so he can make Nowitzki work defensively.
No one underneath right now. Everyone playing out on the perimeter. And Wallace now going down deep. And here is McGinnis getting his own rebound. David Stoudemire back in the game at point guard. So he and McGinnis form the back line. And here is Wallace. And the ball knocked away. Wallace looked like he could have gotten that ball with a little hustle, but the ball was turned over, and on the other end, the foul is on David Stoudemire. And Dirk Nowitzki headed for the free throw line once again. Nowitzki 4 for 4 from the line thus far. He has just missed 4 in 36 attempts, as Del Harris with a few words for Eduardo Najera. Log on to NBA.com or America Online, keyword NBA.com for the exclusive 2003 playoff section featuring live post-game press conferences, photo galleries, video highlights, and more. Love it live on NBA.com. Antonio Daniels checking in for Jeff McGinnis, as Nowitzki 6 for 6 from the line in the game, and he has 8 points. Finley still leads the Mavericks with 13. Wells off the mark and tipped away by Van Exel, and another opportunity. Portland has had chances.
Oh, they're on the board. They're playing hard defensively. They can't shoot right now. They're not making any perimeter jump shots.
In a crowd was Stoudemire trying to throw the pass inside, and Sabonis lost it, and now LaFrentz takes it, and they're going to call the foul on Arvydas Sabonis. And Sabonis could have called time perhaps, but he did not.
A deflected pass by Stoudemire. Sabonis, great hustle, getting on the floor, and then as you see LaFrentz pursue it, a little trip, and that's a critical.
Dallas 10 points. Stoudemire has hit 2 of his last 3 attempts from beyond the arc, cutting the lead to 7.
Let's see how Pippen moves. Last time Van Exel beat him off the dribble. He's got to be able to move to be able to guard people. And again, right there, Dick, not being able to move his feet, putting Van Exel to the free throw line, that's a good offensive play by Van Exel.
It's interesting, people say, when are we going to get, as we look at that play again, Scottie Pippen back in the lineup? But if you're not going to get Scottie Pippen back in any effective form, then you're better off without him.
Exactly, and I don't believe Maurice Cheeks wanted to play him tonight, but they were off to such a slow start, he felt it was worth the risk. But right now, it'll be interesting to follow Pippen to see if he can get loose, because 2 consecutive times Van Exel taking him off the dribble.
Remember, this is not the same Scottie Pippen who sparked this team right up to the All-Star break.
Here's the layup right here where Van Exel again blew by Pippen, but
Nowitzki looking to set a screen for Van Exel. Stoudemire fighting behind it, staying with Van Exel and doing a good job of it, and a foul down low called against Damon Stoudemire. 2 on Stoudemire. And Nick Van Exel, who began his career with the Lakers, went to the Denver Nuggets. And he'll be shooting 2. Van Exel, point total has gone from 8 in game 1 to 12, 14, and 18 in Sunday's game 4.
I think you could easily made the case, along with Bobby Jackson, for Nick Van Exel to be the 6th Man of the Year award winner. He's had an outstanding year, and the biggest factor in him having an outstanding year is accepting his role, that he could still be a starter on many teams, but on this team, it's better for him to come off the bench. I give him a lot of credit for subverting his ego for the betterment of the team.
That wasn't always the case with Nick. 4:15 remaining in the first half. The lead is 8 for the Dallas Mavericks. Here's Scottie Pippen. And the offensive foul called against Pippen does not agree with Scott Foster's call. Portland Trailblazers have been knocked out 5 of the last 6 years by the LA Lakers. They had dropped 10 straight playoff games, on the verge of tying the NBA record for most consecutive playoff losses before their 98-79 win at home on Sunday. Nowitzki off the glass, 10 points for Nowitzki. So Finley, Van Exel, and Nowitzki are the big three scoring-wise tonight for Dallas. And the score at halftime, the Mavericks lead the Blazers 50-43, trying to win the series in 5 games coming into this game. And Dick Stockton, along with not a gray beard, but a gray-shirted Jeff Van Gundy. Now, on first blush, it looks like the story of this game is the Mavericks' defense thus far, when you look at all the numbers, and the fact that that's always the issue with them as to how far Dallas can go in the playoffs. How do you see it?
Well, I think Dallas is playing excellent defense, and I think the zone really hurts Portland. But Maurice Cheeks can't concede to his team that they can't score. And right now, turning the ball over 12 times and only having 9 assists is just not good enough. They have to solve the zone defense. Here we have Portland playing against the zone defense. Ruben Patterson has the ball in the wing. 2 principles of the zone offense is that you've got to get ball reversal and you have to get dribble penetration. So the ball swung from Patterson to McGinnis over to Wells, and then Wells is going to drive the ball to the baseline. If you give it up like Patterson does, you've got to convince players they have a chance to get it back. Here, Wells penetrates against the zone, draws the help defender in Nowitzki, and then drops it off to Ruben Patterson. So if you give, you'll get it back. Unfortunately, players don't understand that all the time. They don't have to shoot it the first time they get it. You can get a second opportunity.
And Jeff, right now, a look at our Home Depot game summary, and you can see 38% shooting for the Trailblazers. And the rebounding, usually Portland has the lead, and they do there, but they turned it over, as you mentioned, 12 times, and Dallas scored on 8 of those occasions, so taking advantage of those. And so now we get set for the third quarter. 10-point lead, the biggest lead in the game, and you see Nick Van Exel, 14, 12 coming in the second quarter, plus a big assist. And one time the Trailblazers cut it to within 1 point, and then Dallas came right back. Steve Nash, again, having a problem. Only 1 point on 0 for 5 shooting. Leading scores, Finley with 13. Van Exel 14 and Nowitzki 12. For Portland with the ball, Zach Randolph has 14 and Rasheed Wallace still 0. Damon Stoudemire picked up by Nowitzki. High arcing shot, a 2-point basket. Boy, that had to graze the roof over Nowitzki. And a technical foul called against Rasheed Wallace. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
I talked to Mo Cheeks at halftime, particularly about Rasheed Wallace going 0 for 4. He says it's a sign of encouragement, but he's also worried. He said we have to do something to get Rasheed the ball early so he can get a quick basket to get into the game. That obviously is not what he wanted to see. Rasheed picking up a technical right there. Meanwhile, Don Nelson says our zone is working. You can imagine that we're going to stay with it.
I would think so, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, the zone has been outstanding in the first half. And Don Nelson has multiple formations to his zone. For Portland, Wallace needs to get the ball in the block some. It's a little bit harder against the zone. They've got to find ways to keep him involved.
Nash made the free throw, his second point of the game. No basket, and the foul for the shot, and Nash now with 3 fouls. So Steve Nash struggling for the second straight game. And as a matter of fact, other than that 28-point output in game number 2, has not really had a breakout. Nick Van Exel picking up well for him.
And that's the value of depth. Having a Nick Van Exel come off the bench for 14 points and a half is a tremendous benefit that most teams don't have.
Another offensive rebound. That is 12 for Portland. Dallas has only 5, and Rasheed Wallace finally scores his first points of the game, coming in averaging nearly 20 in the series.
Dick, he has such a high release on his jump shot. He cannot be stopped in the low post. He may miss, but no one's stopping him because no one can affect his shot.
Nash missing again, and LaFrentz saving it. And Nash now driving in the lane. Stoudemire lost his footing. Goaltending is the call against Dale Davis, and Rasheed Wallace, the other one on Dale Davis. And it's 56-49. 7-point lead. Randolph kick ball, and the clock will go to 14 seconds.
This was just a little handoff play, very few guards can make that play off the dribble, let alone a 7-foot forward. That's an impossible guard if you are a power forward trying to guard Nowitzki out on the perimeter.
Stoudemire coming around the screen now has 10 points. Imagine the Trailblazers are down on the road by 5 with their top 2 scorers with a total of 7 points, Wells and Wallace.
And that was a great screen by Wallace to free Stoudemire up for that mid-range jump shot.
Here's Nowitzki and trying to stay with him, and it was a good defensive play by Stoudemire, who stepped on the line, and now Nowitzki looks to be hurt, holding onto his left shoulder. Dirk Nowitzki still on the floor, and Don Nelson's going to make his way all the way from the Dallas bench to check on his star.
Nowitzki drives baseline, gets a switch. Stoudemire looks like a clean strip, but the force of the strip looks like it may have hurt Nowitzki's shoulder. That could have been a call of foul on the bump, but that was a clean strip. The second time that's happened, that is an ugly, nasty looking injury right here. And Dick, you see it happened with Portland, injuries affecting the series. This, while it may not affect this series, could have the potential of affecting future series, and that is why when you have a chance to eliminate a team, you do it as quickly as possible to try to avoid any unnecessary games, because things like this can happen.
Exactly, you don't want to extend any series, and the Mavericks did not finish off the Trailblazers. I think they were shocked at how Portland did come out, because many times teams are down 3-0. They say, well, you know, we want to win, but we don't. You think we can, and psychologically they don't come up with the effort. Trailblazers came up with it on Sunday. Look like they're coming up with it again, and Nowitzki stays in the game.
And thankfully it's not his shooting shoulder, it's his off shoulder.
He has averaged 45 minutes in this series, and it's tough to get him out of there. Here's Nash, defended by Stoudemire. 9:20 remaining in the third. 5-point lead for Dallas. Penetrating is Nash with the runner, and the offensive rebound by Finley, working his way in for the basket. Went baseline to get the 2.
Great effort on the second shot by Finley. Again, I think Nash right now, when he's struggling with that runner or the step-back jumper, the ones that are off balance, would be better served to get on-balance shots to try to get out of this little slump.
Stoudemire to a driving Randolph. Goaltending is the call against Bradley. And Zach Randolph now with 16 points. He is the scoring leader for Portland, who again creeped to within 5.
Great cut off the ball by Randolph, and even a better pass by Stoudemire. That's how you can attack zone defense.
Mavericks only 2 of 5 from 3-point range, where they've had some spectacular games. Here's Nash having the ball stripped away by Stoudemire. The outlet from Davis to Stoudemire. Nash getting back effectively, and the pass down low, last touched by the Mavericks with 18 on the shot clock. Well, the big 3 of Nowitzki, Finley, and Nash tonight have 34 points. It's interesting that Wells, Wallace, and Stoudemire are almost the same in this series scoring-wise as the big 3 of the Dallas Mavericks. That's a surprise. 8 on the shot clock. Skip pass, Stoudemire. Nash blanketing him. 3 seconds now, and Zach Randolph has it blocked by Rafe LaFrance. Nash again missing. Nash struggling, 1 for 9 from the field tonight after going 0 for 4 Sunday night. Bonzi Wells blocked by Bradley out of bounds with 14 on the clock.
The last possession by Portland where Randolph got a shot block was poor execution against the zone. You've got to get ball movement against the zone, player movement, and penetration. They got none of the 3.
58-53, the Mavericks leading here at home, trying to win this series in 5. Captured the first 3. Stoudemire looking for an open space. Damon Stoudemire now with 12, second behind Randolph, 16 to cut it to 3.
Stoudemire's played excellent basketball to start this second half, building on his Game 4 performance. I really like how he's responded to the challenge of Steve Nash.
And Nash picked up by Randolph on the switch. That means LaFrance defended by Randolph. Portland doing a solid job defensively, and it's knocked away by Stoudemire. Recovering the dribble, lays it in, and it's a one-point game, and Don Nelson wants to talk it over. The Portland Trailblazers, just looking for one more win to stay alive in the series, have a long way to go, but on a 6-0 run, they're trailing by only a point.
Stoudemire's playing excellent defense tonight against Nash. There he gets a steal, leads to a transition opportunity.
They may have to respect the Blazers even more the way this is going.
Well, I think from a coaching and team standpoint, you've got to have enough respect for the defense you're going against, but at the same point, not too much respect where you think they can dictate the action to you. So it's a fine line a team and a coach walks with how much credit to give the opposing team.
Well, we know one thing. Dallas doesn't have too much respect for the Trailblazers as Nick Van Exel replaces Steve Nash. Nash has scored 5 points tonight after going scoreless from the field in the first quarter. And Finley fouled by Bonzi Wells. That'll be second foul on Wells.
And Wells had done a good job defending before the ball got to Finley. Got him out to catch it near the three-point line. So right at that point, there's no need to foul. Give him some space, move your feet, stay out of the penalty situation for as long in this period as you can. That's only their first team foul.
And Nowitzki from Van Exel. And the Cutters are getting through as they did early in the game when Finley got the first 2 buckets that way. And the Mavericks lead the Trailblazers 60-57. Portland has yet to lead in this series. They have been trailing ever since. Stoudemire going high. He's having a big game, 16 points, and gaining a lot of confidence since he's had to carry the point guard duties again.
Doing a good job off the pick and roll, and give Wallace credit for setting 2 straight very good screens on the ball, which have led to openings for Stoudemire.
Van Exel gets one off the glass. Nick Van Exel matching him. He has 16 points. Nowitzki and Van Exel tied for the Mavericks scoring lead.
Van Exel, excellent one-on-one player, can shoot it over the top of the smaller Stoudemire.
3-point lead halfway through the third quarter. Game 5, Stoudemire. Davis fakes Bradley in the air, nearly lost the ball, and did out of bounds. Tried to save it on the pass and could not. So the Mavericks get it back, leading by 3 points. Stoudemire and Van Exel matched up in the point. They have played and come up big for their respective teams tonight. Finley finds Nowitzki, puts the fake on Randolph. And the rebound by Bonzi Wells. Blazers doing a terrific job off the glass as they've had through the series. Stoudemire lays it in. 12 points here in this third quarter, and Stoudemire has 18.
In the first half, we saw Wells go behind the back and make a turnover. That time, made the simple play. Nice bounce pass to Stoudemire. He could catch it, do something with it. Excellent play by Wells in the middle of the break.
And the 1-point game, and Dallas comes right back, not giving the Mavericks or the Blazers in position to take the lead. And 18 now for Nowitzki, and the lead is 3. Wallace with a chance to tie the score out of bounds, and it's last touch by Dallas.
Here Wells is in the middle of the break. Simple play to Stoudemire. Stoudemire goes in and makes a nice finish, but that play started with Bonzi Wells.
And there is Damon Stoudemire regaining the role as a starter, and the numbers picked up considerably. Defended by Finley on this possession. And there's Wallace, has it knocked away by Nowitzki, and they're going to call the foul in the act of shooting against Dirk Nowitzki, his 3rd personal.
And Wallace is going to be shooting 3 free throws because that was behind the 3-point line. Getting back to Stoudemire, we'll go here first. That's a clear foul. Good call by Kenny Mauer. Nowitzki's a little frustrated because he hasn't gotten that call down at the other end. He feels like he's being fouled. So that was a frustrating foul. But getting back to Stoudemire, a player's point of view is always, if you give me more minutes, I'll produce more. A coach's point of view is, play well and I'll give you more minutes. So you're always going to see coach and player disagree on which comes first. It's the old chicken or the egg.
How many players have you had said, look, coach, I don't care how many minutes I play, I'll produce and I'll earn them later on?
That would be a 0.
Not even one guy?
No, most most players just think the more minutes they get, the more they're going to produce. I can't think of one that says, you know what, I'm playing bad, I should have my minutes reduced.
What would you do if a player came into you, Jeff, and said, you know what, I'm with you all the way, I don't deserve the playing time?
Well, if they said that, or thank you, or please, I would definitely fall over.
Makes 2 out of 3. And it's 64-63 in favor of the Mavericks. So he had 3 tries, missed one of them. 4:39 remaining in the third. Van Exel turns it on, and Nick Van Exel stop and go, and he has 18 points.
Again, the pick and roll hurts the Blazers defense. Zach Randolph's got to show out more or trap the ball, but he can't let Van Exel turn the corner and get into the lane.
66-63. Here is Bonzi Wells, now picked up by LaFrentz with 6 on the clock, and the three-pointer by Bonzi Wells ties the game in the series. Huge effort Sunday at home. Can they win another road game to stay alive? Here's Bradley against Dale Davis, and Bradley works his way in for a big basket. Blazers thought he traveled, but the basket gives Dallas the 2-point lead.
I thought that was a very good composed move by Bradley, showing the ball, stepping through, shooting a little jump hook.
Zach Randolph driving around Bradley, and comes off into the hands with under 2 minutes to go of Sean Bradley. Van Exel for 3, and out of bounds. Portland ball, and Dick Pavetta now signaling that there was a foul away from the ball. He was in the right place at the right time.
Here we go, Bradley with the post move. Good use of his length, got Davis up off the ground. Bradley's not known as a post scorer, more of a perimeter shooter, offensive rebounder. There, though, did a good job on a set drawn up by Don Nelson to catch it deep and finish it with the score.
Yeah, Dick Pavetta saw Nahara, who claimed he was held. Wells with the air ball. Breaking out is Nahara. Stoudemire, the only one back with Wells. Great passing. And filling the lane, Dirk Nowitzki. 22 points for Nowitzki. Shaking his head is Mo Cheeks. And opening up a 4-point lead. Stoudemire from 3. And the Trailblazers rushing their shots after they tied the game and allowing Dallas to move out again.
There's no way Nowitzki should be able to advance the ball and then get a return pass and dunk without the other Blazers being back. You've got to make maximum effort in defensive transition. There they didn't, and then they followed it up with Stoudemire taking a no pass, just walk it up 3-point shot. 2 bad possessions in a row.
Portland not being patient at all here in the waning moments of the third. Here's Van Exel, and that'll drop. What a game for Nick Van Exel, and he has raised his scoring in each of the 5 games of the series. He's got 20.
Again, not bad defense by Stoudemire, except Van Exel could just shoot over him, and he did once again.
Here is Wells driving baseline, can't make the layup, trying to tie it up, and a great play by Zach Randolph underneath to follow up with a basket. And it's 75-71. That was a key hoop for the Trailblazers. Mavericks, though, keep coming back. Van Exel leading in, now has 22. So Nick Van Exel for 22 points in the game.
Particularly against a smaller defender like Stoudemire.
And a number added to that is that he has only 1 turnover in the game, which is terrific considering that Van Exel has played 21 minutes. Scottie Pippen, who played 3 minutes and scored 2 points in the first half in the lineup as we start the fourth, along with Jeff Van Gundy and Craig Sager, Dick Stockton with you as the Mavericks try to win, and the Blazers are a huge obstacle here in Dallas.
And you see Maurice's Cheeks' answer for Nick Van Exel to try to put a bigger defender.
Offensive foul called against, and there he was as Pippen took the charge from Van Exel.
He's playing, Cheeks has decided to go without a true point guard. Pippen is going to be out there. They're getting more size on the floor. Patterson has the task of guarding Van Exel, again, to try to make him score over a bigger defender. Very important move by Maurice Cheeks to trust Pippen to play well coming off an injury and to play Patterson, a bigger man, on Van Exel.
He's got that black sleeve on that left leg protecting the knee. 6-point lead, and Rasheed Wallace in the game has only 4 points. Feeds inside to Ruben Patterson against the taller Nowitzki. And there's Nash trying to guard Pippen, and Pippen smoothly hits. Well, Pippen has been around, I think, a few important fourth quarters in his career.
More than a couple. And you see Dallas now, downsides. They play the 2 point guards together to go against the size of Portland, and I think this gives Portland a better chance to cover the pick and roll. They're switching it now because they can keep size on Nowitzki.
Nash and Van Exel in the game at the same time, and a big basket by Bradley. He's hit a couple of huge ones tonight.
Not many people think that a 7'6" player can be a knockdown shooter, but Bradley is that, especially from the corners.
Pippen, nowhere to go, down low to Zach Randolph, but he sees Bradley. Here's Wallace from outside, and the rebound is by Dirk Nowitzki. So the imposing 7-footers make it difficult for many of the Blazers to put up the shots in the lane.
Randolph had an opportunity, except that Bradley was right there.
And the Blazers stood around as Nowitzki went baseline. Wallace and Patterson never moved as Nowitzki looked like he was in the layup line, Jeff.
We have a technical foul, Wallace. Technical foul, Davis. Technical foul, Randolph. And technical foul, Nahara. Do we have anything else?
No. Wallace. I mean, Wallace?
I said Wallace.
I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah, 410.
410, okay.
Okay.
All right, we got nothing. Let's
Okay.
go.
That's real.
It's not quite Abbott and Costello who's on first, but at least everyone at home knows who the technicals were called on.
And that's good teamwork by the officials. And people at home might be wondering, well, why is it important? Because a second technical foul on any player leads to objection. So the officials want to know that. So if there's maybe a 50-50 time to give a technical as Wallace hits a jumper, do you call it or not? Well, they're not going to keep somebody in that deserves a technical, but they're going to be a little bit slower to give one out on those 4 guys who could be ejected and have their season end here in a last game situation.
Yes, it's good to be aware of it, to make sure if you call it, make sure it's deserved. Here is Nahara driving from Nash, and a foul. Well, the Trailblazers tied the game at 69, and 2:34 left in the third, and since then the Mavericks have outscored them 14-6.
Here was a Nash-Nahara pick and roll. Great pocket bounce pass by Nash to a finishing Nahara, and one on Sabonis. The whole problem right there is the rotation on the pick and roll is too slow. It has to happen.
69, and 2:34 left in the third, and since then the Mavericks have outscored them 14-6.
Here was a Nash-Nahara pick and roll. Great pocket bounce pass by Nash to a finishing Nahara, and one on Sabonis. The whole problem right there is the rotation on the pick and roll is too slow. It has to happen before the pass is completed. If you wait till the catch, Dick, he's already up at the rim. Sabonis has got to be there 1 step early instead of 1 step late.
Well, why are the Trailblazers having so much problems knowing they were going to see the pick and roll this entire series, having problems every game with it?
That's a coaching dilemma right there. Sometimes there are no good answers for difficult questions.
And Bonzi Wells scoring. Bonzi Wells with 12 points in the game. By the way, the Mavericks have played just 7 players tonight, and Dirk Nowitzki has not gone to the bench. 6-point lead, the offensive foul called against the Mavericks, and it'll be against Nash. 5 on Steve Nash tonight.
Very good individual perimeter defense by Wells. Moving his feet. Nash uses the off arm to discard Wells. A misconception is that you have to have both feet stationary to draw an offensive foul. Not true. You're entitled to your space. Nash created the contact, therefore an offensive foul.
And Wallace looking for the foul after getting the basket, so Rasheed Wallace hitting his last 2 shots from the field, cutting the lead to 4.
And he's gotten into the post, Dick, and that's where he needs to be.
And Nash with the easy layup. No one picked him up. And again, a 6-point lead.
Again, Sabonis is late on the help rotating over. Right now, Sabonis has got to be early and protect the basket. Forget your man, stop the ball.
Nash has 7 points on 2 for 10 shooting. And Bonzi Wells, and here's Nash. Blazers get back defensively. So Nash going wide open. Nowitzki in rhythm. Dirk Nowitzki now with 26 points. He has played the entire game, even with a shoulder injury that knocked him down in this game. And Nash not scoring tonight, but has 10 assists. Nash won't let Wells try the three. And Nahara doing the same with Wallace, forcing it inside to Ruben Patterson for the basket. 4 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter, and the Mavericks leading by 6, trying to eliminate the Trailblazers in 5.
Very good pass by Rasheed Wallace against the zone.
Van Exel in the corner. LaFrentz, good three-point shooter, and it's tapped out. Wallace was late getting over there, and Nowitzki finally getting it out with plenty of time on the shot clock. Van Exel with 22 tonight. He has become the second top scorer behind Nowitzki's 26. 5 on the shot clock, shooting over Pippen, a three for Nick Van Exel, his second of the game. The third for the Mavericks to open up the 9-point lead.
They made Portland switch, got Pippen on Van Exel, and then Van Exel knocked Pippen back with a dribble move and pulled up and shot the three.
Pippen looking inside to Wallace, and he was held by LaFrentz, it appeared.
Here was the switch of the pick and roll. Van Exel, boom, backs Pippen up. Pippen doesn't have any elevation off that leg. Therefore, Van Exel got the clean look, and he has just been huge the entire game to make up for Nash's subpar effort.
And as we said, he has gotten better in every game. And there you see Van Exel with 25, one behind Nowitzki. Nash with only 7. Finley with 15, 13 of them in the first quarter. So this is a team that needs 3 good scorers. And normally it's Nash there. And Nash didn't do it in the last game, but Van Exel has come up big as Arvydas Sabonis goes out, replaced by Dale Davis. Last foul was on LaFrentz, his 4th. 6 on the shot clock, and Portland's got to hurry to get into something on offense. Pippen with a long-range shot. Patterson with the offensive rebound, feeds Bonzi Wells, misses the layup. Big opportunity by the Trailblazers, who will keep possession of the ball to the dismay of Mark Cuban.
Pippen takes a desperation 3 at the end of the shot clock. Again, the zone, one of the main problems with the zone is rebounding responsibilities there. Patterson did a good job, dished it to Bonzi Wells. Wells just missed a point-blank layup.
Here's Pippen working around Nash and feeding Dale Davis. And the layup cuts the lead to 7 for Dallas.
Against the zone, good dribble penetration by Pippen and a nice dish to Davis. And Davis did a good job catching and finishing in traffic.
This is a spirited game 5. And again, you've got to give credit, whether they win or lose, to the Trailblazers for playing very tough against this team when they had the 3-0 huge mountain to overcome. Here's Nowitzki with the turnaround. 28 for Nowitzki, who twice in the series has gone over 40 points. 46 in game 1, 42 in game 3. Pippen for 3, and he hits. Portland only 4 for 19 from beyond the arc, and that'll cut it to 6.
That's probably too many threes for Portland to take, since they're not a real good three-point shooting team. The more they're going at the basket, the better off they are. Again, the Nash Nowitzki pick and roll is hurting them. On the switch, Wells has got to do a better job guarding Nowitzki. Last time he left him uncontested for the jumper.
6 on the shot clock. Van Exel with a very long 3. And Nahara with the long rebound in the corner saves it for Nowitzki. And Dirk Nowitzki has hit his last 5 from the field, and he's got 30 points.
Nowitzki makes that pull-up jump shot look easy. It's the most indefensible shot in the game. 2 hard dribbles, balance stop, and then he just shot it over a retreating Rasheed Wallace.
8-point lead with 5:05 remaining in the fourth. Scottie Pippen, and the offensive foul called against Pippen. And right now, this game is in a critical stage because the Dallas Mavericks, with a chance to open up their biggest lead shortly, Nowitzki, of course, the key. 5 in a row from the field, and it's 94-86 Dallas. 5:04 left in regulation. Eight-point lead, and the Mavericks Mavericks can open up their biggest lead with a 3, match their top edge with a basket here. As the Blazers manage to tie it up with a couple of minutes left. A 3-point shot, air ball, fired up by Van Exel. Here is Pippen, bad knee and all, coming back to get a big 2. Scottie Pippen, the money player, showing why here in the fourth quarter with the bad knee.
And that was the response to Maurice Cheeks. They did defend. Pippen Wallace, excellent pick and roll defense, forced the long contested 3 by Van Exel.
6-point lead. Nahara swings it around to Van Exel for another 3 and another miss. And the rebound by Zach Randolph. So Dallas going for a couple of 3-point attempts to try to perhaps put this one away, and they did not.
That was a good look by Van Exel. Good offense, good shot. He just missed a good look.
Here's Wallace for 3, and he's got it. Rasheed Wallace, and only the
Short clock on against the zone. They've got to get something going at the basket.
Bonzi Wells for 3, and it's a 2-point game once again with 3:19 to go.
Forget going at the basket. Shoot the 3. That's it.
Well, Wallace and Wells are on the mark. 15 points for Bonzi Wells, scoring late and nearly a turnover at midcourt. 10 on the shot clock as we wind down to 3 minutes to go in the fourth. Here's Nash feeding Nahara, and the shot is blocked, and Bradley's follow doesn't go, and the rebound by Wells. Under 3 minutes to go, and a chance to tie or take the lead for Portland. 13 rebound edge by the Blazers tonight. Here is Wallace, front end, and the fast break. Here is Nowitzki. And Dallas answers with a 4-point lead, and Nowitzki now with 34 hitting his last 6 from the field. And a 20-second timeout called by the Trailblazers. Each team with 2 full timeouts remaining, and each with 2 fouls to give. With under 2.5 to go, Bonzi Wells going to Randolph with the open shot and hits. And it's a 2-point lead again for Dallas.
Good response by Portland out of the timeout. They were trying to post Wallace. Saw that he was fronted and back. Swung it to Randolph. He knocked in the open jet.
20 for Randolph. So he has followed up the 25-point game with another big output as a starter. 7 on the shot clock. Got to watch Nowitzki. And Nowitzki, not this time, tipped out again. And it'll be another possession. Under 2 minutes remaining in regulation.
Tremendous defense by Portland, but you have to finish your defense with a rebound.
Nahara in the game for the Mavericks. 9 on the clock. Pippen defending Van Exel, who's had a sensational game. And here's Van Exel again. Tough shot. And a loose ball, and Randolph the rebound. Remember, Rasheed Wallace playing with 5 fouls.
That was great individual defense by Pippen. His contribution in this fourth quarter cannot be overlooked.
Chance to tie it up or take the lead. Air ball by Wells, out of bounds. And his last time.
That was a great look coming out of the timeout. And then this second one was more of a contested attempt with 23 on the shot clock, but he has such confidence in that shot. He knocked it down. That's an unbelievable 3-point shot right there to get a chance to get the lead. And Maurice Cheeks
will high-five anybody.
That's right.
He'll high-five anyone right now. And Wallace with 14 points. They led by 4 with 2.5 remaining. And Portland has scored 7 straight points.
Portland has that foul to give. If they're beat off the dribble, they should use it, but you don't want Wallace to.
Nowitzki. And the foul, it'll be a 2-shot foul, and that'll be 6 on Rasheed Wallace. So Rasheed Wallace, who has come up big with 14 points here in the second half, will foul out of the game. Scottie Pippen is our Gatorade League performer because of what he has had to fight, coming back with a sore knee and all. 15 minutes, 9 points, 5 assists. You can't all measure what he has done in numbers, Jeff.
No, just having him on the floor to me is critical because he gives their defense an entirely different look. They can handle the pick and roll better. He can see over the zone defense. He gives them some penetration, and most importantly, he gives them poise.
And he's coaching everyone on the floor. He's going out there to give them all the instructions. Dirk Nowitzki, perfect 10 for 10 from the line tonight, trying to bring Dallas as he misses. Dirk Nowitzki has missed just 4 free throws in 43 tries in this series, and that one would hurt. And Damon Stoudemire will come into the game, replacing Patterson.
Now this is interesting. They have Sabonis on the floor for rebounding the free throw. If they don't take a timeout and they go to the other end and don't score, Dallas has no timeout, so when they push it back, Sabonis is going to have to guard Nahara or Nowitzki in transition.
One free throw, it's 101-99. About 8 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock.
And Portland wants to make sure they don't shoot early. Dallas has no timeouts.
Here's Pippen. Now to Bonzi Wells. Van Exel looking for the steal. 5 on the shot clock. Here's Wells with the turnaround. And it's tipped up and in by Sabonis. Arvydas Sabonis with the tip in. And it's 103-99. Time running out. Here is Van Exel. They're going to need a 3 somewhere along the line. And Nash will fire up the 3. And it's knocked away out of bounds. Trailblazers ball with 8/10 to go. And they're going to do it as Maurice Cheeks, who had not won a playoff game before Sunday, now has won 2 of improbable games to keep the Trailblazers alive and send it to Portland for Game 6 on Friday.